Well, Matt Reeves dropped the first image of the new Batmobile online this past week. I'm curious, how do you rank your Batmobiles?
Well, this one just went straight to the top. Like, coolest looking Batmobile. Like, I just like the fact that it's like authentic. It looks real, like Joe Schmo can build it himself, and it blends in. It looks like it would blend in with Gotham instead of sticking out. So then after that, I go with another classic car kind of look with the Adam West in the '66, the Lincoln. I really enjoyed that. After that, I know everyone's going to hate me on this one, is the Batman Forever Schumacher one.
Okay.
But the reason why I got it is because I used to love the toy of it.
Sure.
I had the Batmobile toy, and I was just like, loved playing with it, so it's like nostalgia to me.
Sure.
Then I go Burton. His is like just a sleek, classic, like old school, like Batmobile. I really enjoyed. Also had the toy of that one. And the one I liked the least was the tank.
The tumblers.
The tumblers.
Yeah.
So the only thing I enjoyed about that was the pod.
You gotta love the
part
Bat
of
pod.
it.
Yeah.
And like, because that just added so much to
that
the
scene
Dark
in
Knight.
The Dark Knight is so good, dude. It's
good.
so amazing. So for me, okay, the new one as a gearhead, I got to see this thing in action. I also got to see how he kitted this thing out. Like, I got to see the weapons. I got to see the gadgets. I got to see all that shit before I make my mind up about this car. And I got to see how it fits into making him a better crime fighter. That's what I really want to see. As far as the existing ones, I put Affleck's at the top. Just amazing. I saw a documentary on how this car was built, and it blew my fucking mind. It's in the Blu-ray. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. Watch that. It's like just like a mini featurette. And then I would put Burton, and then the tumblers. Actually, I put West before. I put the '66 Batmobile before the tumblers, and then the tumblers, and then whatever the Schumacher ones.
Yeah, the crazy Schumachers.
Yeah, those were horrible. I really, really hated those. It literally looked like a fucking cartoon. It was just not sexy. Did not like it. But we're curious, guys. Where do you rank your Batmobiles? Drop us a note on our Instagram at meanwhile_pod, or tweet us at meanwhile_pod. We want to know how you rank your Batmobiles. But without further ado, let's hit the music and let's start the show.
Meanwhile, back on the podcast, 4 colossal nerds named Saba, Chris, Christina, and Frank have set out to take on a great darkness that has enveloped the world of fandom. With their powers of common sense and the strength to take on even the most butthurt Twitter mobs and insufferable comment section trolls, they fight for truth, objectivity, and nuance in the conversation and debate over fictional made-up shit.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you again for joining us here in the pod booth for another edition of the Nerdly News. We are so excited to have you guys back with us. But before we jump into the show, why don't we tell these guys what's coming up on today's episode?
Sure.
All right. So we got Matt Reeves teased the new Batmobile. We're going to be talking about that. It's double vision on the set of the Batman as well. There's some new casting rumors. We've got some photos from the set of Loki that have got us kind of scratching our heads a bit. And from Thor 4, a notable hero, it will be playing the role of the villain according to his co-star. So we're excited to jump into that. Star Wars news. We're going to be talking about this Palpatine, the latest on Palpatine. I'm sure if you're listening, you know exactly what it is, but this thing needs to be broken down. And we got some new set footage from Falcon and Winter Soldier we're going to be breaking down. Anthony Mackie's been giving some recent interviews that have raised a couple of questions that I think need to be addressed. And to cap off the show, we're going to be talking about some fresh duds for our favorite mutant who says bub. So that's today's show. Hope you guys stick with us. This is going to be a good one. So before we jump into it, how are my co-hosts doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Yeah? Why are you doing so amazing, Matt? What's going on, buddy?
I killed an interview this week, so I lined it up to possibly working right across the street from my house, selling weed.
Nice.
But in an actual store, not on like the corner.
Nice. That's good.
And it's just funny because like I remember all my teachers saying, you're going to amount to nothing, just smoking weed and reading comics all day. So I'm like, well, look at me now.
You're getting paid to do it.
So
no,
great.
You know what? No, that's that's really indicative of the world we live in today, man. Like you can literally make a living doing anything you want to do. Like there are kids on YouTube that are making millions of dollars by unboxing toys and being recorded by their parents doing it. Like how fucking crazy is that?
Yeah, the best projects are just put out there in the universe, and like you're not trying to accomplish anything, but people latch onto it and they love it.
It's wild, man. It really is. Like, you know,
I can't get into those unboxing videos. My brother is like obsessed with them. I'm like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, they definitely don't do anything for me, but the economy behind them is fascinating. Like it's kind of, it's kind of a phenomenon. It's a cultural phenomenon where people are literally making millions of dollars for either doing exactly what they were normally doing or doing nothing at all. Like it's kind of wild. It's kind of a wild time, Christine, what's going on with you? How are you doing?
I'm okay. Just trying to move. So.
Oh right.
Yeah.
How's the move coming?
Comically, it was like entertaining. My dad came yesterday to help me move some boxes, and my condo's pretty small. He makes fun of how small it is. So he came in and somehow like
I've been in your condo. It's pretty small.
Yeah, he like destroyed everything in the foyer. Like he tried to use the laundry room door to close the bathroom door and was confused because the two doors are beside each other. And he's like, "How come the door doesn't close? I'm trying to go to the bathroom. I want to close." I'm like, "Because it's the wrong door. That's not the bathroom door."
What?
And then as he was trying to pull that door shut, he slammed it into my IKEA furniture, and then he broke the IKEA furniture. Then he told me IKEA's cheap and don't shop at IKEA.
Oh, just rip it
instead of being like, "I'm sorry, I broke your furniture."
So wait a second. Your dad was in the bathroom and he was trying to close the door behind him.
There's two doors that are sort of like in a corner beside each other.
Yeah.
So he was trying to use the laundry door to close the bathroom.
Oh,
of course that wouldn't work because
okay. I get
it's
what
not
you're
meant
saying.
to close that door. So there's like a huge gap.
Right. Okay.
And
I get what you're
saying.
saying.
And the door doesn't open all the way because it's a small hallway.
That's
and there's
hilarious.
a piece of furniture there. And I know that this door doesn't open all the way, but he doesn't know that. So he just kept slamming the door into the furniture. I'm like, obviously that's not going to work.
This is why you hire movers, because one, they won't insult your furniture. And they won't insult your place
in your face.
And then one of the boxes was too heavy and he spilled the contents on the floor. And then he stepped on it and slipped.
Well, it's hard to get mad at your dad, but you get mad at employees.
Yeah, that's true.
Then he started talking about my finances in the middle of the hallway, asking me how much I'm going to have left over and what am I going to buy, and remember to pay the CRA.
Yeah, remember to pay the CRA. That's for sure.
Remember to leave some money over. Oh, and you should also put lots of money into RRSPs because you didn't make contributions the last 3 years. I don't know, something about RRSPs.
And... listen, man, with the way that with the way that, like I was just talking about, the way that the economy is now, the things that you can do to make money, I really don't think we need to exercise the same practices that our parents did,
right,
as far as accumulating wealth anymore, right? Like you can literally make money doing anything. I can go out and I can scout and find like this cutest dog in the world. Like if I could find a dog that looked exactly like Baby Yoda, like I could have an Instagram page up for him tomorrow and it would have like 200,000 followers within a couple of days, right? Yeah. And I can economize that, right? Like that's how crazy the world we live in is right now. It's just wild, dude. Like you can make money doing anything. And then so crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't know. So my dad doesn't get that.
I finally embraced it. I come from a family that's like, if you're not doing anything purposeful, you're wasting your time.
Hey, listen. I think that if you're someone who wastes your potential on silly shit, then you're kind of spitting in the universe's eye a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
Like, if you feel a sense of something that you need to do or a role that you need to play as far as on the stage of our collective existence, and you don't do it, I don't know, man. I don't have any sympathy for you at that point. It's people got to contribute to society, right? That's the way I see it. And if you choose not to contribute to society, okay, fine. But like, it's kind of nuts that you can literally go be a YouTube star and contribute nothing to society, but also be one of the more well-off people.
But I want to do both.
Yeah.
That's my goal in life. I
Yeah.
want to be able to like give a good message and make some money from it.
Yeah.
And entertain.
Yeah, well, it's not even necessarily even about the message either. It's kind of like if you have the resources to help others or to help better people's existences, you know, that's something more people should be doing for sure, you know. But yeah. But anyways, this isn't a social philosophy show. This is
Let's get back to comics.
Yeah, let's
And
get
you
back
can
to-
definitely do more than one thing too. You
Yeah.
can have a money thing and then a side hustle. So
This is my side hustle.
yeah.
yeah. Well,
Making
let's
money.
get back to debating things around made up shit, right? Just like our theme song says.
Yeah,
so.
sure.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the show. So the first thing I want to talk about, Matt Reeves has dropped the new Batmobile on the world. And okay, so I don't know how I feel about it quite yet. I did like the reveal though. The photos looked really amazing, and the actual setting, the atmosphere that he put around to reveal not only the Batmobile but Batman in his full costume from kind of head to toe with the cape and everything. It looked pretty dope. I'll be honest with you, I liked the one that Zack Snyder did for Ben Affleck a lot better. The black and white.
I have a lot of
I
friends.
thought that was very powerful. But as far as this Batmobile goes, I kind of so where I kind of see it fitting in to the chronology of the Batmobiles is this is something that's more closer to what we've seen from the Batmobiles in the comics, right? Like this one almost exactly like, I'm not going to say exactly because that one kind of looks a little bit like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but the one that Jason Todd ripped the wheels off of when Bruce met Jason. Like that's kind of what it reminded me of a little bit. And this is year 2 Batman, right? This is not year 1, this is year 2. So I like the fact that this looks like an old muscle car that was repurposed with just the most powerful power plant engine that he could put into it. I love the fact that it's mid-mounted too. I see issues with it being mid-mounted though from a writer's perspective though. Cause like, how do you, like, what if there's thugs chasing him and shooting at the back of the car? Like, is the engine bulletproof? Probably not. So Matt, what do you think? What was your first take?
Oh, I thought it was pretty badass. Like I enjoyed that it looks realistic to the point you could like any Joe Schmo could possibly build this in their garage.
You like that part?
I like that because think about it. When the Batmobile's so flashy, like you're just thinking, who in town can afford a Batmobile like that? Bruce Wayne. So it hides his identity a little more, I find, and it's just more interesting.
I like that point. You know, okay, but dude, it's Gotham, right? Gotham is kind of the quasi Manhattan in the world of DC, right? So there's lots of people with that kind of dough. But I get the argument. Like I think it does do a lot more to camouflage his identity. And I like the fact that you've kind of made that connection. I think that's good. What else, bud?
I like the fact that like he's doing multiple vehicles. Like Reeves is really making this like exciting and just crazy choices that like I respect because to be honest, like Batmobiles are always a hit and miss. You said you were liking the Ben Affleck one. Like, yeah,
That's my favorite Batmobile.
like it is pretty authentic.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just dig this one so much better for some reason. Like I just,
It looks gray. Like it
Yeah.
looks gray and black. And like, I love this old school. Okay. So what this kind of reminds me of is Mad Max.
yeah.
Like it's got
exactly.
very much like a Mad Max kind of, you know, people were making jokes that this looks like Dom Toretto's Batmobile, Dom Toretto from Fast and the Furious. It's got like a Fast and the Furious vibe to it. I didn't really see that. I saw more of like Mad Max's old Interceptor. That thing was a really fucking cool car. But I think this has got the potential to go down as one of the movie cars that kind of really becomes iconic. Like I think it has that look, it has that profile, it has that energy to it. That power plant in the back looks insane. There's obviously this thing has been okay. So for people who are listening in for the first time, I'm a huge car guy, total gearhead, and I can tell you right now that The chassis on this thing has been stiffened up like you would not believe. There's a roll cage inside.
I feel the car goes with like Reeves's kind of style of the film, like a more
I think
noir kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna be like realistic, low angle, like car chase scenes. I find, like more Bond-esque.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know. It kind of looks like something a rich kid would soup up. He would make this, like what you said, in his garage or whatever. So
I don't know. I don't feel like it's got that rich kid vibe to it. I feel like it's got. I almost feel like this is this. Like, could we see a Bruce Wayne? Could we see a Bruce Wayne that's kind of.
Yeah, but to afford those kind of modifications on a car, you would have to have some money.
You have to have some money, but you don't have to be wealthy to build a car like this. So you don't have to be like crazy wealthy, right? But like I'm saying, is this an indication that maybe the Bruce Wayne that Matt Reeves has created is kind of rejecting his wealth? Could that be something that
or
we
he's
could
becoming
see?
more like scrappy and more? He wants to learn more, so he doesn't want to like rely on his money. So like a MacGyver kind of thing.
Because we've seen that, like we've seen this theme also in the Bat costume too. The bat suit. The bat suit looks very somewhat makeshift, do-it-yourself, kind of homemade as well, right? And definitely that insignia, it has some sort of, or that chest piece has some sort of story to it for sure. Something, a deeper subtext than what we're already imagining could be there, right? So Christina, what were your first impressions?
I don't know. I kind of liked it. I liked the fact that it does look makeshift and it kind of blends in more, I think, than the other Batmobiles.
What was your favorite Batmobile?
I don't know. I have to say I'm not a car person. Like the Batmobile isn't like a thing in the movie
the Batmobile's
to me.
the Batmobile.
I don't have a favorite Batmobile. I don't like pay attention to what car he's driving.
Okay, so I got to ask you this question after you said this. When you were in high school, didn't you wasn't the car that a guy drove like part of his appeal?
No.
You didn't give a shit?
I grew up in Woodbridge. Everyone had stupid cars. Everyone had cars with like stupid lights on them and stuff. It was annoying. Anyone who had a car like that, I was like, I don't want to talk to you.
I had a Dodge Neon
That's my entire That's my entire
People used
world,
to sit
my
in
economy.
their car and like the Tim Hortons and like drink coffee and like that was a date. Like,
that's the
come sit in my car.
And you're like, where do you get that money to afford that car? And
I was the kind of girl like I would go for the guy who drove like his mom's van. That was like
serious.
That's sweet.
Because
I was like the kind of guy I wanted to date.
Gotcha.
I DD'd like that one time. My mom's van. It was terrible.
Or like,
was there an appeal of having a van? Was
it's
it like
humble? It's like you're not trying to show off.
Okay, I thought it was something else. Like we don't need to. We don't need to
compensate for something.
Yeah, compensate for something, or go and there was no need for like hotel rooms or anything.
And
when
I
you
also
have a van, right?
I like the idea of someone who's not like
Nice.
wasting their money on dumb shit. Like,
Gotcha. Okay.
like
So-
you don't make a lot. What are you doing? Like, why do you have a part-time job and spend it all on your
Okay.
car? Like,
So that was more of your analysis.
yeah,
Okay,
like
okay.
proportionally to what you earn, your car shouldn't be like 70% of what you
Hilarious.
earn.
Did you actually think those things when you were dating guys?
Yes, I was that kind
Wow.
of person.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Like, what are you trying to prove?
Okay, guys. Well, if you have any hopes of ever dating Christina, like just let her, just know at
Nobody
dinner
wants
she's
to
going to be
date
going
me,
through
I'll
your
tell you
budget.
that.
She's going to be going through your budget. Like you have to like bring your budget with you when you go on a date with Christina, apparently.
Not that I'm amazing at money, but like, I don't know. I have some things. Yeah.
That's true.
I was careful-ish.
Gotcha. Okay, well, you usually have a good analysis of kind of how these kind of things kind of fit in a story. So, like, how do you see the Batmobile kind of playing a role in the story or into the character's development? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess like the fact that he kind of, it seems like he's maybe trying to blend in a bit more.
Like Matt was saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that kind of fits with like the detective vibe to me too. So
Cool. Okay. Well, moving on. So it looks like they've cast a set of male twins on the Batman and already added to this unbelievably, incredibly diverse and cast with so much depth and so much talent. I know these twins. I was a huge fan of The Leftovers. I love that fucking show. And they were the twins in the first season of The Leftovers. Does anybody else know them from anything else?
Oh, Teen Wolf. They were
Teen Wolf?
They were the
Okay.
sexy wolf twins.
There were sexy wolf twins?
Yeah, they're sexy wolf twins, and I think one was gay, one was straight.
Okay.
So they like really crossed all demographics.
Interesting. Okay. And that was a CW
funny.
show?
Yeah, of course it
Okay.
was. But it was tasteful at
course
first.
it was.
At first.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So any speculation on who these guys are playing? Matt, go.
I was looking up maybe Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They're like a henchman, like
But aren't they
brothers.
fat?
Yeah, they're fat, but they could make them sexier, sleeker, or
Okay.
whatever. Like, like artist interpretation kind of thing.
Okay, that's an interesting take.
But like they kind of like go from villain to villain. They're like naturally associated with the Mad Hatter because the Alice theme.
Right.
But they've worked with like the Joker and like other like villains like that.
Sure.
So maybe, I don't know, they're like Penguin's henchmen or Riddler's henchmen.
Okay, so you think they might be henchmen. That could be a
Yeah.
cool, like, that could be a good toss back to, or a good callback to the 66 series, right? Very campy. Like, if you put them in, matching outfits, it kind of echoes back to the 66 series. So maybe that is something that Matt Reeves is kind of playing with. Maybe it's comic relief too.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know exactly what it might be, but Christina, what do you think?
So along the same lines, like they reminded me of two henchmen as well, and then I thought maybe Min and Max, which are Two-Face's henchmen.
Okay. All right. And they were twins?
They were twins, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, there's no talk of Two-Face being in this movie yet, but honestly, I still don't think Matt Reeves has revealed the entire cast, because I think once he does, the Batman community is going to go nuts and be like, oh shit, look, it's this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. It must be the Long Halloween.
Yeah, you can't give
right?
everything away.
Yeah, you can't give everything away, because I think that is the dead giveaway. If it is the Long Halloween, it will be the cast, it will be the people in the film. So people can kind of say, okay, well, that character's in here, and that character's in here, and that character's in here. And they're just going through their Long Halloween checklist.
I think it will be good if they do henchmen, because then it's like you could save some villains for future episodes. Like, you don't send out the big guy, he sends out his little guys. You get introduced to the little guys in this movie.
Sure.
And then in future movies, maybe like Two-Face will be in it, or Riddler or whoever.
Sure.
So,
Actually, you know what?
yeah.
I like this angle, because I think every Batman story that we've seen so far, like, there wasn't really any name to Scarecrow's henchmen. Like, nobody had a name. Like, nobody had an identity. I think the last guy we saw that really had a cool identity that was a henchman was Bob in Tim Burton's Batman. Remember Bob, the guy with the beard?
Oh.
That was with the Joker?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Remember
he's
him?
like number 2.
He was funny.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he was
Oh,
funny.
I
had
love those movies. Those movies were great. I
Yeah,
felt
they
like
were campy.
I felt like all the characters kind of had depth and stuff, though, to a degree. Like, I don't know. I felt like they were good movies.
True. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had like a henchman with a name in any recent Batman movies. Not even
Well, they made Bane a henchman, which was dumb.
Bane definitely was not a henchman.
But they made him a henchman.
Bane was an extension of Talia al Ghul, I think.
No, I'm talking about Batman and Robin.
Oh, that? Oh no, we're not, dude. Those movies don't exist in this room, bro. Those movies don't exist.
No.
Schumacher, no.
No.
Like, sorry, once you put nipples on Batman's suit, dude, you're done.
You're out of my mind.
You're out of my
it
head
just-
canon. You're done.
I pulled it out with the
You're done, bro. You're done.
wizardly wand.
So I had a theory. What do you guys think about this? What if it's the Graysons?
Oh.
Whoa.
What if it's the Graysons?
Like,
I'm not
they
saying
made
that it's
them-
Dick Grayson. I'm saying what if Matt Reeves took his own kind of interpretation, or, kind of recreated the Grayson family, and we've got two acrobatic twins who are part of the Grayson family, but these are the ones that actually die along with their mother and father, or something like that. I don't know.
Or one of them dies.
I'm just
and one of
spitballing.
them lives.
Yeah, I'm just spitballing. I don't think that one of these twins is going to be Robin. I don't think they have enough star cred
No.
to kind of get the role of Robin. And I don't think Robin is actually going to be in this story. I know people are, hopeful that Robin will make an appearance in this, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, you know what? I like the henchman idea. I think the henchman idea could be really cool. And it'd be good to have a henchman that's got some some personality, and a name. Everybody's just been kind of, indiscriminate thug number 1 and indiscriminate thug
Yep.
number 2, and the guy with a gun, and so maybe this might be a little bit more interesting. Maybe this is a good step in the right direction. Cool. Moving on. So interesting photos have been leaked from the set of Loki. Now, there's something that people are not picking up in these photos. I probably won't be the first person to say this. I don't have that kind of ego where I think that, oh shit, nobody else has ever seen this. But Owen Wilson's in one of these photos.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Owen Wilson, eh?
Yeah. Pull up the photos. Owen Wilson is in one of these photos. But the lead of this story is that there's a lady Loki on the set of Loki. And it's not Tom Hiddleston in drag. It's Lady Loki. Like, it's an actual female actress dressed in Loki's green leather kind of tunic style outfit with his cape and everything. No gold horns, though. Yeah, you can see Owen Wilson in the hood, and you can kind of see his nose sticking out. That's the dead giveaway, is the Owen Wilson nose.
His nose.
Yeah, dead giveaway.
I can kind of see it.
That's him,
but
dude.
until you confirm it.
That's him. That is definitely him.
In
That
the
is
green
definitely
jacket?
him. No,
Like
not,
in the middle of
yeah,
the night?
yeah. The rain slicker.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I don't
him,
see it.
dude. That's his face.
I like Owen Wilson, so I think
That's
that would
him.
be awesome. If
That's him, and he's wearing a time variant suit, and the time variant soldiers. What do you guys think of these guys? They look kind of like stormtrooper-ish. They kind of look Nazi-ish.
Yeah. Like this is like an alternate world. Oh, they got like the swastika kind of like
I don't know, but I don't know about the
bands on the
swastika.
side.
Damn,
not,
dude.
Not like
Oh, okay.
like how like they wear the band, like the Germans wore the band, the
Yeah.
Nazis around their arms. So they're
Yeah.
kind of they're like taking more of like a communist kind of like look.
And Tom Hiddleston's got a similar patch on his jacket his left side of his chest. It's like a yellow reddy kind of thing.
Like he looks like he's like a detective or something.
He's wearing a
in that outfit.
windbreaker, and then the last photo is Lady Loki because you can see that necklace that he wears, that gold necklace. So I don't know who this person is. That's not Tom Hiddleston, that's for sure.
Who the woman?
Yeah,
Oh, it's Sophia DiMartino.
who's she?
She was the love interest in Yesterday,
Okay,
that the Beatles movie.
seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe Lady Loki's playing a bigger part than we thought in this, or
yeah,
maybe
like she's an up and comer, but I
Okay.
don't like that she's blonde because Lady Loki has black hair.
That's true. That's true. That's kind of, yeah, I guess that's, I don't know. Whatever it is, you can really only speculate as to what's in these images, but that is definitely Owen Wilson. That's my takeaway.
I hope it drops and it's not him, and I can just be like, ha!
I don't think that's going to happen, pal. I think that
I
nose,
know that nose. The nose.
that nose and that chin
I'm
are
like-
unmistakable.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
It's like
That nose and that chin are unmistakable. Like, you cannot, that's the guy from fucking, he literally looks like, with the mustache and everything, he kind of looks like a Wes Anderson character right now.
So is that what's going on though? When Wilsons are breaking out into the comic book scene now. You got
Well, it was already
Luke
teased.
Wilson and Stargirl, and now he's
We already found out that, we announced on a previous episode, Owen Wilson was going to be in this series.
oh yeah,
Yeah, he is.
Oh.
He's cast.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's
okay,
cast.
then yeah.
Yeah, so that's
No
him.
clue.
So that's going to be exciting. And Hiddleston, don't see much Loki vibe on him at all, except for his colors. Like, he always does the muted green or the darker greens with it, whatever he wears in terms of his suits or whatever. But yeah, interesting. What do you guys think of this Lady Loki angle?
I love it. I like the comic book angle of it.
Can you talk a little bit about the comic book angle?
Mackenzie Lee came out with the idea that Loki's like more of a pansexual and like kind of gender fluid when
Sure.
he changes, because like when you're being mischievous and kind of like pretending you're a girl, like does she kind of like implies maybe like brain chemistry and like biology change, and like
Right.
kind of like he takes on more of like the female like feel of being a woman, so he can like really fuck with people,
Okay.
which is a pretty cool dynamic because like you can kind of like really turn some heads, some nations by like just being a honeypot sometimes.
Okay. Why would he shapeshift into a shorter woman? Because you can definitely tell that she's shorter. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh. Some guys think short women are cute. Maybe
No,
he's trying
I
to go
don't-
for like
I
a
like
cute
tall.
guy.
I like them all different shapes and sizes.
No, but like, why wouldn't I don't know. I just think if I had the power of shapeshifting, I would stay proportional. So my wardrobe wouldn't be completely out of whack,
Oh,
right?
that's true. That's
Right?
true. But I don't think
Don't
he
you
really
think?
like chooses clothes.
I don't know. Would you fit into ladies' clothes as someone the same height as you?
Possibly.
I can guarantee your hips wouldn't fit. In
I used to
skinnier
wear girl jeans.
You just what?
I used to wear girl jeans.
Did your
Why?
hips fit into the girl jeans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because they were the only slim jeans at the time.
Okay. Interesting. See, in my day, jeans
I've
were
tried
bigger.
to wear boy jeans. It doesn't work.
Well, like, yeah, like.
you
it
talking
goes
about-
through
what are you talking
phases.
about? That's
It's
like a-
phases. Like the 80s, people wore like
That's
girls'
like-
clothes.
That's like the
And then
thing
it
for
came
girls
back.
now is wearing
like sometimes
boys'
when my
jeans.
brothers had cool pants, yeah, like a boyfriend cut or whatever. I
Yeah.
tried it. It didn't work. My hips could not fit into boy jeans.
Okay, interesting. So, all right, but I thought they were wider. I thought boyfriend cut was
I don't
wider.
know. It probably depends on the size,
Oh,
but like
okay.
it didn't work for me. It didn't do anything for me. I was like,
They
nah,
just hit the hips and fall.
fine.
Okay. Yeah,
like I can't do this.
I'm not a fan. Like, I'm definitely not a fan of the boyfriend cut. On like, I know women want to wear them because they're comfortable. I don't know.
I like the look.
I like the look of like a rocker, like skater chick or something. So
yeah,
like,
that's
yeah,
why I like my girls. Punky.
yeah,
Right.
I kind of like pull
I like
that
punky.
off
Punky with
sometimes.
attitude.
I like punky. To me,
Well, I don't know. It depends on my mood. I don't always. Sometimes I feel like dressing more girly. You'll hardly find me in a skirt or a dress though. I'll do it sometimes, but not too often.
Yeah, so Loki's gonna be using his shape-shifting powers to turn into a woman and probably all kinds of other different things.
I would be.
I think this is kind
I
of
hope he becomes like an animal or something. That'd be cool too.
An animal?
like a wolf or something.
like Beast Boy.
Or he'll go to like the universe where it's like Thor frog and then like he's,
Thor
like, an
frog,
animal.
right?
owl.
Thor frog.
Like I don't know. I just feel like you could do so
Right.
much more reconnaissance on
So
your
true.
targets or something if you're an animal.
So true. That's why. Yeah, that's why he's the perfect. He's the perfect king.
He's mischievous, so if they're giving him
He
this,
is the god of mischief.
yeah,
Yes.
I think he could just like get up to so much more if he's using his shape shifting abilities.
True.
So.
True. I just think it's hilarious that you just pointed out that he's mischievous when he's called the god of mischief. But
Yeah. Well, also like,
I think that's a natural.
sorry, I didn't hear your statement.
What? I didn't make a statement.
Oh, okay. Like you're saying. Oh, okay. You're just teasing me for saying.
I'm teasing
but,
you. Yes, I'm teasing you.
no, but also if he could like pretend to be other people, that could also.
Yeah, that could get interesting for sure.
Yeah, because I read in the comics he's posed as Scarlet Witch before to trick John Walker, so like that could be interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
so that could
interesting.
tie into other things as well.
That's interesting. He's used his shape-shifting powers as a comical device in previous movies. Well, then, and he also one of the best ones is when he went to tell Odin that Loki had died, but he was just a regular soldier, and he could see his father's reaction. Do you remember that part?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Thor 2, and he only did it because he wanted to see how his father would react to the news of his death.
See, I'd be doing sneaky stuff like that.
Yeah.
Does my dad really love me?
Okay then.
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if I would pose as one of my brothers just to see what my parents would say to my brothers about me.
Wow.
Jake died.
Wow.
We didn't care about him. Matt died. Oh no.
Your brother's Jake, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Jake and Matt. That's good.
I got two more. Well, one more.
You got two more?
I got one more
Shit.
brother and a sister.
Shit. Okay. All right. So moving on, we have confirmation, folks. Confirmation from Tessa Thompson herself that Christian Bale is cast in Thor 4 and he is playing a villain. So from hero to villain, Christian Bale. Speculate. Who's it gonna be?
I was thinking Ares, but then I was just like, Wonder Woman did it, so like I don't think they're going that way.
Okay.
Gore, the
Yes.
Butcher God.
God did the God Butcher.
God
Gore the God
Butcher.
Butcher. Yes.
That would be a cool one.
I'm hoping it's going to be Gore the God Butcher. I think that Gore's emotional journey, his psychological state lends itself perfectly to what Christian Bale does. Like Christian Bale is such an accomplished actor and always gives such a powerful performance. I'd love to see the words that Jason Aaron wrote for Gore, like that experience. I'd love to see that come through Christian Bale. I really, really would love to see it. So if you don't know who Gore the God Butcher is, I'm not going to spoil the entire thing for you because I think everybody should read Jason Aaron's run on Thor the God of Thunder. And that's kind of where the story kicks off, is with Gore the God Butcher. It's fantastic. Gore is basically an alien that lives on an unnamed planet that becomes disillusioned with his god and his belief in God, and he loses his sense of belief. He starts to hate God as a concept, and in turn he directs that outrage to other gods, and that outrage leads to him basically going across the multiverse murdering gods. That's why it's called Gore the God Butcher. It's a fucking fantastically written story by Jason Aaron, and Thor is obviously the one that kind of steps in to stop this guy's massacre, and it's just so awesome and so well done. But yeah, if you get a chance to read it, please read it. Have you ever read it yet?
No, but the way you talk and like the artwork I'm seeing of it, I definitely will now
fantastic.
give it a taste because
dude, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good, and the story ties in 3 Thors. So young Thor, who was like at the moment of introduction to the Norse people, where they begin to like kind of deify him, and then there's like older Thor, and then King Thor, like super old Thor, like future Thor, and they kind of work together, and it's so cool, man. It's such a good story. Christian Bale, I think he could really kill this role. Christina, what's your take on Christian Bale being in Thor 4?
I read another theory that it could be Dario Agger, and Dario Agger was
the Minotaur.
The Minotaur, but also the CEO of an energy company called Exxon. And
Roxxon.
I think Roxxon, sorry.
Yeah, Exxon's the real world one.
Oops, my bad. Yeah. Roxxon.
That's a real life company.
I'm sure it's supposed to be Exxon, but obviously that could be politically topical. Yeah. So I could see maybe that being the villain in this.
So Dario Agger was a protagonist in another Jason Aaron run of Thor. It was shortly after the God Butcher, actually, and it kind of ties in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
and there's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that kind of Thor starts to grow some affection for, and she's an environmental scientist, so it really takes the environmental issue that the world
and she's the one who convinces Thor to care about this as a problem and go after after, I forgot what his Earth name is. Wait, not the Minotaur. Oh yeah,
Dario Agger.
Dario. Yeah. So she's the one who convinces Thor to like go after Dario, kind of
to intervene.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I think that could be interesting. So
cool, awesome.
So Dario Agger is also a villain in the Jane Foster Thor storyline.
Okay.
And he joins forces with the Dark Elf Malekith during that.
Oh shit.
So
I haven't gone that far.
Yeah, so that could be really interesting.
Oh yeah,
you just ruined it.
Sorry.
No, wait. I was gonna say maybe okay, so Malekith was the protagonist in Dark World. So we've already seen Malekith. And he was played by Christopher Ecclestone, who also was on The Leftovers. Amazing job. Like the character. Okay, so he gave an amazing performance. Sadly, though, there wasn't a lot of character depth to the character. But I've read a couple stories with Malekith, and he's pretty maniacal and pretty calculating. A really cool character with a lot of depth. Do you want to finish what you're saying?
No, yeah, so that was it. So he kind of joins forces with the Dark Elf to kind of be the nemesis in the Jane Foster Thor storyline.
Okay, so how is there anything that like how does Dario Agger impact Jane Foster?
So it sounded like they're trying to end the world or something for some reason. I didn't catch why, but yeah, that was the premise.
Yeah, her theory sounds pretty good because like they cross. It's a story about Jane Foster, right? The new Thor. Yeah, and they're kind of maybe the villain crosses over, so it is Dario.
I didn't read it, so I don't know. I just read about it. I want
to read the.
Are there any
sounds
shared?
Cool.
Are there any shared physical characteristics between Bale and Dario Agger?
Yeah, I was
they
reading.
look similar?
Yeah, I was reading that they look similar. Like
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, I think so given that Taika is very much into this Jane Foster storyline, and that he is he is somebody who's very environmentally conscious,
yeah.
and he probably would embrace a story kind of told around, the environmental question. That could be a high possibility.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what I just see a lot of ties to like the real world right now.
Damn,
so.
I want to see.
She did get some good research.
Damn, I want to see Gore the God Butcher though. Like that's what I really, really want to see.
Popped your bubble.
Yeah, she just did pop my bubble.
I don't know if I just did.
How
but
dare you,
I don't know. We'll
Christina?
see.
How dare you?
I feel like the main theory was the
Yeah.
God Butcher one. Like as I was
Yeah.
reading this, everybody wanted to see
I do.
the God Butcher, but yeah,
I do.
But no one's
I really
paying
do.
attention to
politics.
Yeah. Well,
this side.
Marvel's been doing a good job as of late, kind of threading in real world issues into
Yeah.
their stories. I don't know if you guys picked up on the message in the Winter Soldier, but it was basically about, giving up our, our freedoms and our rights
For protection.
for a sense of security, right?
And environmentalism is huge right now. There's so many. We had all the protests that Greta was kind of inspiring, and then
Right.
right now we have a lot of protests around the pipelines with the Native
Right.
American communities. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that could definitely lend itself. And Jane Foster, she's a cosmetologist or physicist, or I can't remember exactly what she does. She deals with, I think it's a physicist. She deals with obviously, space-time, because she was dealing with that in Thor 2. And she found the ether. Interesting. Okay. I'm hoping for Gore the God Butcher. That's where I got my fingers crossed for, is Gore the God Butcher. I just think it, like the way that Bale transforms into people or just entities, just the way that he envelops, or he lets these characters almost take him over. I really, really want to see that. Like I really want to see Gore the God Butcher. I think it'd be fucking fantastic.
Yeah, like it's a lot of A-listers are like, I want to be in this Marvel and DC kind of like projects, and
They're high profile.
Yeah.
Like they're high profile. They're a lot of money. Like they get paid a lot of money, right? Funny enough, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Meghan Markle has instructed her agent to try and find her a role within Marvel or DC.
Oh, that's
she
so
wants to do
funny.
comic book movies.
yeah, I think Matt McConaughey did the same thing.
Meghan Markle. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen her act in anything. Has anybody seen her
No.
like perform in anything?
No.
No?
I don't follow. But wasn't she on a TV show? I'm pretty sure she
I
was
think
on a
so.
TV show, yeah.
I think so.
And it was a cop show or something.
I don't
so-
I don't see her getting into Marvel anytime soon, unless like Prince Harry is like using his influence.
Oh, she was on
Oh, they
Suits.
could. I mean, she could if
Oh,
she
she
wants
was on
to.
Suits.
Oh, that's what
yeah,
it was.
she
yeah,
was
yeah.
on Suits. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm listen, whatever. I don't want to see her as like the next incarnation of like the Black Widow, that's for sure. I'm good, yeah, whatever. If it happens, it happens.
They're rich. They could probably do whatever they want.
Yeah.
If they want it, they'll get it.
Next thing up. So it looks like there's been the Rise of Skywalker novel got released, and somebody found a passage. It's the scene where Kylo Ren is meeting Palpatine for the first time, and Kylo Ren gets the impression, and I don't know whether this is through the Force or through his own physical observations or whatever it is, but he gets the sense that Palpatine is a clone. That it's not really the original Palpatine, that this is a clone. And Lucasfilm has gone ahead and confirmed that Palpatine was in fact a clone. So I don't know, man. So I think I made it very clear that The Rise of Skywalker was not a satisfying experience for me in terms of really anything. That movie just didn't give me what I wanted. I didn't like the fact that I didn't like the way that they brought Palpatine back. I didn't like the explanation behind it. I didn't like, we really didn't get an explanation as to where he came from or how he survived or whatever, but now that we know he's a clone. Thoughts, Matt? Seriously.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was a clone the whole time. Like, It just makes sense. He operated the Clone Wars. Like, he pulled all the strings. Like, so he knows, like, the cloning process. but like it just like it's the deterioration thing, because like if he has all this technology and like part of the Empire, you think his clones would be like tip top shape, you know,
better put together,
or like maybe you can't pass as many midichlorians through a cloning process.
Are midichlorians still a thing though? Are they still canon?
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I haven't heard anybody talk about them in quite some time too,
like
right?
cloning in general, can you clone a Jedi? Can you clone a Sith like with their powers?
Oh, well, I think that's the question, right? That's what everybody's asking, because everybody's okay, so he did have powers. He had powers because he made the Star Destroyers rise out of the ice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the indication that he did have powers before
The lightning too.
he did the drain on Ren and Rey, the dyad. You know, like he does the drain on them, and he becomes way more powerful after that. Obviously, he becomes more replenished, and he looks more flat. Like he looks as healthy as you can look as Palpatine, but his eyes are glowing. He looks very powerful and very omnipotent. Right at the end of that scene, I don't know, man. I really don't. Like, I almost feel like this is Lucasfilm backpedaling, trying to kind of underwrite maybe one of the mistakes that they think they made in hindsight.
So the only thing about this that could be interesting to me is, like, if he's a clone, doesn't that mean someone had to have created him?
He
So
did.
Yeah, he created
He
him.
created
Yeah,
himself?
he probably
Yeah.
has a shite load of clones just chilling.
I don't.
Yeah,
don't
maybe
you think that there would have been someone behind that, like someone?
Well, there's comic book storylines that support that Palpatine was really into cloning, and he had lots of versions of himself,
Oh.
And you can have
and you saw the vat of Snokes, right? There was like literally like 6 Snokes in one big vat. When they're panning across that scene on Exegol, you can see the Snokes. So that confirmed that Palpatine was Snoke, and Snoke was a clone. And he says to Kylo, he's like, every voice you've ever heard, that's been me, right? I've been every voice that you've heard. And he kind of indicates that, you know, whenever he heard Vader, whenever he heard Snoke, whenever he heard Skywalker, like it was Palpatine really manipulating him, right? Or his dad too, Han Solo. I don't know if I like this. Like, you know, again, in my headcanon, episode 9 was the one that we read with Trevorrow. That's my episode 9. That ending was so much more satisfying. Did you ever get a chance to listen to that episode that we did?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing.
What'd you think of them?
That movie is way better.
Yeah?
It's just so much better. Like, if they explained a lot more, like, say maybe, like, oh, the Sith can, like, extend their conscious through, like, clones and,
Right.
like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Or, like, the fact that, like, his clone was deteriorating or didn't have enough midichlorians, so he had to find a Jedi that had a lot of midichlorians or as powerful as Rey,
Right.
and had to take her body just to like sustain or become like
Right.
powerful. But they didn't like give a throwaway line. They gave nothing,
Right.
like
right.
no indications. It was all up to us to theorize.
Right. So, okay, so this is a very philosophical thing, but if Palpatine's a clone, is Rey still his granddaughter?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like people were like, "Is she a clone baby?"
Yeah,
Goo
and
gaga, clone baby.
Does that mean he didn't have to have sex to have her?
well, yeah, that's the question. Like, when did Palpatine have his son?
Yeah, it makes no sense now.
Did he have him as a clone, or did
But-
he have him?
Maybe he has multiple cloning processes. Like one's like, oh, my multiple cloning process. One, just normal birth.
Right.
Just normal birth.
Right.
I'll have a son. He'll carry on my blood. We'll see what happens. Maybe I could snatch her body later.
I read one theory that her dad was supposed to be a Palpatine clone, but he was a failed clone.
Yeah.
So he bailed.
Yeah, but that's actually in another Legends story.
Okay.
There was actually a Palpatine had a son called Triclops, and he was I think he had one eye, and he was like a totally fucked up clone of whatever. So, okay, so let's get back into the philosophy of this thing. One, yeah, is Rey like, does it? I don't know, man. It's
Like,
It's really fucking confusing. It really is.
It does make
confusing.
it more confusing because like
does.
by them confirming he's a clone, yeah, it's just like, is Rey? Yeah, is she even like real? She a clone too? Like
They can make a movie about it. That could be.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
the clone rebel, teen rebel. Like, I'm not you, Dad.
Yeah,
I want to be good.
that's hilarious. What does this do in the aftermath to Anakin's sacrifice?
Makes it kind of look dumb.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it make it look dumb? Like
Well, if he was like one of many Palpatines that could have been there, you mean, or
well, one was that what did Anakin throw? Did Darth Vader throw a Palpatine clone down the shaft, or was it Palpatine? And two, did Anakin die to kill Palpatine, only having to clone himself and come
wouldn't
back?
the clones not have been grown when Anakin had to? Like maybe the clones wouldn't have been ready yet. Like
Maybe.
they were still incubating or whatever. No.
Really fucked up from Mace Windu to the point where he's like, I gotta start cloning my body because like I'm dying in this one.
Yeah.
So at that time, so you just been seeing clones.
So
of
the
him,
Force
like, and
corruption.
he's just chilling. And
So
like
the Force corruption, like when the Force corruption gets to a point, Palpatine says to himself, I gotta start cloning myself. Is that what you're trying to say?
And how do you ensure that your clones grow up as fucked up as you and with the same motivations? Like
it's
because isn't so much of who you are the environment you were raised in and
it's
all
like
that?
educating.
Like,
You have to put them in the room and Clockwork Orange them.
See,
yeah,
I like that.
Do they have to like implant
See, I like
the
that.
memories of Palpatine into the clones? Like how does that work?
I like that. Like, okay, so there was an episode of Rick and Morty
With that.
with
Yeah.
Beth, and Beth thinks that. So, do you know which one I'm talking about?
No, I thought you were talking about the cloning vat, or not the
No.
cloning vat. He has, because this is another theory.
I'm talking the one about
So,
Fruity Land.
Say, Palpatine has like an AI system connected to his heart.
Yeah.
Like if he dies, that could start the cloning process, kind of thing. Like it does in that one,
Yeah.
the newest season of Rick and Morty, when he's just like he keeps reappearing in random vats.
Oh fuck! I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that's
yet.
a good
And then
one. The new
who's
season,
choosing to take the clone out of the vat or whatever and like
the
put
computers.
them into
There's
the world?
robots.
Yeah, he's
Robots
got-
do everything.
Yeah,
Like, have
they've
you seen
got-
people get out of it?
They've got droids for everything,
Yeah.
dude. They got droids
Scratch
for
my back.
everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
I guess.
What the fuck, man? Honestly, like, why could? Okay.
It makes
okay.
the world a little more interesting.
Okay,
to
who
me.
thinks that this is Lucasfilm covering their ass after after the fans coming back and saying bringing back Palpatine was a stupid
It
decision?
has to be, because it's not like it's a novelization of a movie that already came out.
Right.
So that's what it is.
Okay. So you think it's them covering their ass?
Oh yeah, like I
Okay.
don't think it's a very like crazy plot
So
point.
you
Why
don't
does
think
this novel exist anyway?
Because they always do an adaptation. They
Oh,
always
they
do an
always-
adaptation.
Moolah.
Yeah.
after the fact,
Yeah.
after the movie.
Yeah. So in the Last Jedi novel, there's a lot of things that I learned after seeing the Last Jedi that I wanted to know about. In one specific moment, you know, when Luke comes down from the mountain to come down and he interrupts Rey and Kylo in the hut, and they're almost touching, and he's like, no, and he like he basically force pushes the entire building apart. Luke was apparently coming down to tell Rey that he was going to go with her.
Oh yeah, it's like little things like that they put in.
Yeah.
Like, in like narrative, like they
Yeah.
do like in-person narratives.
Yeah, so he was gonna go with her to confront Kylo or to go fight the First Order.
It feels
Right?
weird to like
But
flesh
then-
those things out after the fact.
True,
Like,
true. And sorry, let me continue on that point.
yeah.
So when Luke comes down from the mountain and he sees Rey and Kylo, that's what changes his mind. That's why he confronts her and they start that fight. Like she basically attacks him, ends with the lightsaber, all that shit. Like he was gonna go with her. When he sees her with Kylo, that's what changes his mind. So I don't know. Yeah. So next up, some footage got leaked from the set of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it features John Walker, U.S. agent, in his U.S. agent suit with Bucky, and Bucky is trying to rescue some hostages out of the back of a van, and John Walker is having like the fight of his life. He's fighting off like 4 or 5 dudes, and then it kind of cuts. But it's this puts me in a place where I'm starting to think that Bucky's going to be working with Agent Walker a little bit, or the U.S. agent. Like, there's going to be some sort of alliance there. There's going to be some sort of mutually. It's almost like they're going to have some sort of aligned goal, like something that they're trying to achieve that they both share a need to achieve. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, like, so the government's all for superheroes now. Like, Ross isn't out there trying to, like, arrest them all, maybe.
Right.
But, like, I feel like maybe they just cross paths on a same mission. Like,
Bucky and...
Like, Bucky's doing a mission with Falcon, or, like, doing a side mission by himself.
Right.
Or, like, a scouting mission, maybe.
Right.
And then, like, he sees U.S. agent show up, and then they just cross paths somehow.
Okay, that's a good explanation. That actually makes more sense. Maybe that's the introduction point for John Walker. Maybe that event is literally the first time we meet John Walker within the series. And then the scene where we see him on the steps of whatever that, I think that was the Capitol building or something. It was something governmental, is like the aftermath. It's like, you know, Bucky's already met the U.S. agent, and then the U.S. agent is being introduced to the world through these other venues, these other events. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Yes, Christina, what's your takeaway on this footage?
Yeah, so when I look at the footage, it looks like they're working together.
Yeah, just like kind of the way everybody else kind of sees it. Okay.
But I think that's probably because the government is deciding, you know, they're soldiers, so the government tells them what to do. I think they're just following orders or direction from a higher up.
Yeah, I can see that being true for John Walker, the U.S. agent, but I don't necessarily think it's for Bucky, because Bucky's still got, a lot of bad shit in his past, right? He's still a wanted fugitive for all the shit that he did for Hydra, all the assassinations, et cetera, et cetera. That's why Cap hides him in Wakanda, right? Like, that's why he's in Wakanda. One is to get his arm fixed, and two is to keep him safe, because there's all kinds of different government agencies probably trying to hunt him down, potentially kill him as well. So I think Bucky's still kind of flying under the radar. I think he's still working very covertly, especially with Sam, and especially with anybody who's kind of aligned with them. But yeah, Matt, you were going to say?
He could be like a double agent working with Sam and the government, or the government can come to him and be like, we need to rebrand Captain America.
Which they've done.
So they do the U.S. agent in the posters, but like, we don't have the society's trust, so maybe we'll give him Bucky as a partner, and maybe the society will be like, oh yeah, he's friends with Bucky. He's just like the other Cap.
Interesting, because Anthony Mackie recently said in interviews that him and Bucky, like Sam Wilson and Bucky, are not really friends yet. Like, there's not really like the friendship that people kind of assume there is by them being in the same series. So there's still kind of some animosity, I guess, between them. I don't know whether that stems from Bucky's past and how Sam kind of sees that, or if it comes from the way that we've kind of seen them interact in, past Marvel properties as well. Let's get into what Anthony Mackie additionally said too, is there will be 2 Captain Americas in this series, according to what Anthony Mackie's saying. So there will be 2 Captain Americas. I don't know how that's going to play out. Obviously, U.S. Agent is going to be one of them. And then there's obviously going to be some sort of other Captain America.
No, I think... Okay, so, like, is he saying, like, Anthony Mackie is saying he's not Captain America at all?
No, he's not saying that.
Okay, so,
He's
like, that's
definitely
what
not
I'm
saying
thinking.
that.
Like, he's the Captain America.
Because he also goes on to say that, like, he can see that we're in a world now where he can represent everybody, right? So he's definitely alluding to the fact that he is Captain America, and he is the Falcon. Again, I think it's odd that they want to tell this story without him taking the super soldier serum, because I'm sorry, I don't see a regular human being be able to throw the shield like that.
Oh, no.
That's like virtually impossible. It just doesn't. You have to have the strength of a super soldier.
Maybe
to kind
that's
of
why
or be able to catch it back. You're like, ah!
Exactly. Like, I don't know where to go from there, but I want to talk about these propaganda posters that were posted as well. It's definitely, I think John Walker's U.S. agent is more of a kind of a government entity. Yeah, he's an avatar for the government. He's definitely a propaganda device. He's definitely something that the government is using to encourage people to get back into the military. Because who doesn't want to fight with Captain America,
Or
right?
become or registered superheroes. Like probably that's a new thing, or the same thing they're gonna pound down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, like even though the Thanos thing's done, we still have to deal with like all these jacked up super people.
And that could be also like it could involve an interaction with the mutants as well if they're going to do the Superhuman Registration Act. So
Yeah, maybe, but they did have the Sokovia Accords, right? Like
yeah,
the
well, that's what
Sokovia
I'm
Accords
saying.
were
Like,
still
they
a
didn't-
thing.
They didn't. Yeah, they're still a thing.
You don't think Ross threw those out after
No,
Endgame?
Ross is not like that. I don't think he'll play that. 'Cause
And he's in this series.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he's in
and I
this
think that's
series.
why. Like he's gonna be the handler for Cap, the new Cap
for John
US
Walker.
agent. Yeah, John Walker.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
That's how he gets the
the
super
more
soldier.
the more
serum,
and more I
maybe.
get this. Sorry, the more and more I hear about the series, the more and more confused. It's funny. I think I have a better understanding about WandaVision than I do about this series right now. Like, I don't know how Zemo is going to be tied in yet. John Walker's role is definitely some sort of government puppet to get people to kind of, more, to get more public support behind the military again. They're definitely using that as a device for sure. And it does say U.S. Army on those posters, and Ross was Army. He wasn't Air Force. He wasn't anything. He was the Army. So it's interesting. I don't know. Anybody else got any thoughts?
I think it's gonna be pretty different seeing these two characters like interact with each other without Cap in the middle.
Right.
Because that was their tension was like, who's Cap's better friend, or like who does he like more? So they like kind of despise
For Bucky
each other
and
for a
Sam.
second.
Yeah. No, they definitely. I could definitely see some, some animosity and some jealousy between Bucky and between Sam. Sam was when Cap first went to get Bucky in Civil War, Sam's like, this guy may not be the guy you think he is anymore, right? Like Sam was always kind of the voice of reason. So maybe Bucky still, or sorry, maybe Sam is still in the mindset that Bucky's programming isn't all gone.
Maybe he's
Maybe
still on the
he's just
fence.
he's still paranoid about, the Hydra agent still coming back. Potentially. I don't know. Christina, what do you think?
Well, I think if Bucky's still a fugitive, then it would be hard for him to be the new Captain America anyway. So,
Right.
I think it makes sense that Sam would be apprehensive too. I also think it makes sense that Sam's going to take a different role than Bucky, because if Bucky's on the run, he's probably just trying to like live his life and like.
Well, we don't
hide.
necessarily know he's on the run. That's the thing, is like we really have no idea where.
Well, he's probably trying to lay low.
status.
I don't see him like trying to be front and center in the fighting of everying.
Yeah, with the
so.
metal arm, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So I feel like he's gonna be like kind of, he's retired. He wants to take a back seat and things. So I don't see him like competing with Sam that way.
Right.
But so I think the introduction of like John Walker brings like conflict into that. So
Yeah, I think they're going to make it difficult for Sam Wilson to become Captain America.
Yeah.
Like I think that's without a doubt. I think that they're going to use that. They're going to use that idea, that notion, that force of resistance from the government to tell a very racially driven story. There's another actor that's been added to the cast, and this guy's from Supergirl. He played John Jones's father in Supergirl, and it's Carl Lumley. He was also in Battlestar Galactica. I'm a huge, obviously everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Battlestar, so I'm just pointing that out. And the rumor is he may be cast as the original Captain America. Apparently there was in the continuity of the Marvel comic books, there was a black Captain America before Steve Rogers. Yeah, so Carl Lumley, people are speculating that this could be an older Isaiah Bradley. And Isaiah Bradley was someone who's subjected to the super soldier experiments long before Captain America was, or Steve Rogers was. And I don't know about you guys, but I could really see this story kind of tying into Sam's, as Sam may discover that Isaiah Bradley was one of the first people who was subjected to the super soldier serum. And potentially this could tie into something very close to what the Tuskegee Airmen experiment was, like in our real history. Like, again, I see Marvel tying in a lot of real world issues and real world events into their, threading those into the stories of the Marvel universe. And I could see that definitely being something that they could lean into, because there's been a lot of, we're trying to live in a post-racial world, right? And everybody's trying to tell these stories that are, somewhat more illuminating about, racial politics in the United States and Canada, in the civilized world. Well, what was thought to be a civilized world. And I think that this story kind of lends itself to that, especially, with Sam being in a position to become the next Captain America and being an African American. I could see Isaiah Bradley kind of coming out of nowhere and being like, hey, here's my story, and then maybe Sam goes, starts to reveal this story to the public. What do you guys think about that?
I think so. I think it's like one of those things, maybe Sam doubts himself as being Captain America because he's black and like he won't be received.
Mm-hmm.
But then the older Captain America like comes in and kind of like gives him the nudge, being like, you can do it kind of thing. Gives him inspiration to actually like become the next Captain America.
I think, again, it's like a political storyline. It's topical. It's like a dark past for the U.S. government in the world of Marvel. So, like, based on real events, basically.
Yeah, I would really like to see this tied in. I really would.
Yeah, because basically Isaiah Bradley's team was an experiment, and because of their race.
Yeah,
so
and
that's dark.
And they didn't volunteer. They were like literally kidnapped.
Chosen,
and
yeah,
they were kidnapped, and it was 300 of them, and they were kidnapped and they were tested on, and Isaiah Bradley is the one that took to the serum.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that the number is 300. I'm just kind of calling back to the Spartans. That's kind of my thing.
But then he was also forced to go on a suicide mission, and he got captured by Nazis. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Okay.
So that could make for, I don't know, I think that could make this really
I couldn't see the Nazi
interesting.
soldiers treating a black soldier very well.
Especially
No.
having flashback episodes
Yeah.
as him as Captain America.
I think this
That could
could
be
bring
cool.
a lot of depth to the show and make it
That'd be
really interesting to
or
watch.
flesh out a
shit.
second season.
You know what we're totally forgetting? Natasha dumped all of the government files onto the web in Winter Soldier. She dumped everything, right?
Oh, okay.
Remember? Like, she literally
so
like
they can,
just
they
open
can
up.
bring this up.
Like, all the top secret files are like available to everybody now, right? So maybe this is something that Isaiah Bradley discovers post, like, later in his life, that he was
maybe he didn't
that
know
he was
an
experimented on.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he doesn't know.
Well,
maybe
like,
they wiped his memory.
I feel like now,
Maybe he doesn't
Or
even
maybe
know
they
who he
lied to
is.
him
now that we talk about
about
this, I feel like it's going to heavily like circle around like the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
Like the theme of Captain America.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is something the government used to do, though. Like, it's known that in the real world, the U.S. government used to do this
And
type
with,
of thing
like,
and
HBO.
experiment on
Dude. Yeah.
marginalized people.
Tuskegee
so-
Airmen is a real thing, people. If you don't know what it is, Google that. Like, if you don't know what MK Ultra is, Google that. All very real things. All very real things, and it's the government subjecting their people to horrible experimentation without their consent, and it's just it's fucking gross. It's a dark chapter
and like
in
obviously
the history of the Western world.
Ethics boards and stuff came about after those kind of things to kind of prevent these kind of things from happening.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Although I'm sure these kind of things still do happen in the
Yeah,
world.
They
dude,
still
there's-
happen right now.
There's so much potential with this. Like, they could introduce Isaiah Bradley as somebody who didn't even know who he was until Natasha dumped all that information on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, he forgot, like, he got his memory wiped, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe, like, after, like, post-action, right? Like,
And it's like a mystery.
coming back from World War II, they wipe his mind, and then, to start over again, they introduce Steve Rogers to
Or
the
he may
Super
not
Soldier
have
program.
known like the purpose of his missions or something
True.
like that. So he could like it could like change his perspective.
True.
So
True. I really hope they embrace this angle. A lot of people are complaining about, the the idea of racial politics or, socio-political subtext being in these programs, but I really think it adds a lot of texture to the storytelling. I really do. Sometimes it's a little heavy-handed. Sometimes, it can get a little overboard, but this story is something I really like. I'd really embrace. I would really love to see.
I like it, especially if you're pushing for diversity and stuff, because then at least there's a story plot point about why you're doing that and how it's coming about.
Yeah.
So that's and I think it makes it a more enlightening and thought-provoking story.
So taking us into the next point, DC is canceling all their March convention plans because of coronavirus.
Well, yeah, that's like a trend across many companies. I think everyone's trying to do their best to try to contain it as best they can, or decrease opportunities for the spread of infection.
Yeah.
I think it's important that they made that sacrifice. I'm sure money was spent. I'm sure that is a sacrifice.
Yeah, they lost deposits for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So, and we are seeing that is the standard across a lot of companies.
There's
so a lot
been
of companies
are
doing that. Microsoft, Amazon,
Yeah.
Deloitte. So I've seen lots of companies drop conferences and stuff because of that.
There's a lot of auto shows that have been canceled.
A lot of IT conferences have been canceled and put online.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
I mean, people's safety has to be the most important thing. So
yeah. So we have Toronto Comic-Con coming up, and DC's usually got a fairly big booth there. So I don't know what this means for Toronto Comic-Con, because that could be a large chunk out of their revenue.
So it's hard to say too, because I think it depends on where you're located. So I think this conference, the infection is kind of spreading a lot in California. So it got to the point where there's kind of like a communal spreading thing already happening.
Right. Well, Emerald City, the one that they canceled is Seattle, I think.
There's
Seattle,
13 cases of
Seattle,
deaths.
there's been a lot of outbreak in Seattle. And they had some cases that they weren't able to trace back to contact with a specific individual or contact someone who traveled. So I think that's why they kind of had to take those kind of actions there. Toronto is a little different. We're not having a community spread yet.
Right.
I don't know if our government is going to want to step in and say we don't want to do this or not. It is a big deal for Toronto. Comic-Con is like a huge revenue generating and tourism thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see it get canceled because of that.
Okay.
I think it is like a big part of our economy at this time of year. So.
Okay. Well, this may be me being a little overly critical, a little too sardonic about it, but could this be DC? Okay, so do you remember the article that we saw from Forbes, Christina, a couple months ago, or 5 or 6 months ago, about DC decreasing their event marketing spend, and that being an indication that there was something much bigger at play? Could this be DC retroactively covering their asses, though?
Just PR spinning it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think that this is coronavirus.
You think it's genuine?
Yes.
It's genuinely motivated?
I don't think they might not have been putting as much money into it as they might have in previous years.
Right.
So.
To be honest, more people have died from SARS, and there's been worse. There's been worse ones.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of it's a cop-out. But 13 people who had the coronavirus did die in Seattle, so I think that makes somewhat sense.
Okay. All right.
Maybe for people to be skeptical about going there.
It's kind of disproportionate too, because a lot of those deaths did occur in an old people's home. I think 7 of the 13 deaths occurred in one old folks' home.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like a disproportional figure for Seattle.
Right.
But I think it was the fact that they started to have community infections that they weren't able to trace back. So it was becoming an outbreak. So it's on the verge of becoming an outbreak in Seattle, and they don't want it to outbreak into the community.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
They're trying to take steps to prevent that from happening.
Good shit. All right. Well, that's interesting.
Well, it doesn't. I'm a Marvel fan, and I want to talk to Marvel writers this year at Comic-Con anyway, so I'm good.
You don't want to talk to any DC people?
Not right. I haven't really been reading a lot of DC, so I don't have a lot of questions for them.
I haven't been reading any DC as of late either. Well, not recent
Yeah, that's what I'm
releases.
saying. Like the last,
I'm reading
like,
old
last
stuff.
2 years.
I'm reading old stuff right now. That's
I'm really current on Marvel right now.
yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. There's a Marvel / DC concept artist, Jared Morantz. He shared some unused concept art for Wolverine through his Instagram, and some of this shit looks so dope. Like this is the way that I always imagined my movie Wolverine. We've never had the mask. I want the mask so fucking bad, and I get everybody's argument that you can't put a good-looking guy like Hugh Jackman in a mask and expect to like get the box office that you want. I get that I get that idea, but honestly, I think that's an untested theory. I don't think anybody's ever really done it. And if you can take Chris Evans and you can put him in a Captain America mask and still do the budget or still get the turnout that you get, why can't you do that for Wolverine? They put Batman in a mask all the time, and he turns out huge box offices. So why can't we do that with Wolverine? It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it was just Hugh Jackman. It was like, I don't want anything on my face.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But these costumes are fucking unbelievable. Like, my favorite is the first one, the one with the yellow X across the front and the longer sleeves and the gauntlets. Looks amazing. What were your impressions, Matt? What was your take?
The best, like, team looking Wolverine one, because Wolverine always has his own like suit, like he does brown and yellow mostly now.
Yeah.
So like and then he had the pure yellow with like a little bit of blue accent.
Yeah.
But to like harmonize both the blue and yellow with like the X in this, it just looks so cool.
I like the yellow and blue better than I like the brown suit. The brown suit always just like you look like it's the color of poo, man. Like it just doesn't it just doesn't work for me, dude. Like Wolverine's a really, his personality is so colorful and he's got so much depth, and he's short and he's small, and I just don't want to see him running around in brown. He just looks like a little turd running around, right? Like he looks so much better in a yellow costume. It just makes him pop more. He leaps off the page much more aggressively when it's the yellow costume, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm glad they got rid of those shoulder pads though. The old yellow and blue costume with the shoulder pads were kind of funny looking.
I feel like there's room for costumes in the MCU.
Yeah.
There's lots of characters that have the colorful costume, like Iron Man had his costume. Yeah. Loki has a weird costume sometimes. So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they could do it. I feel like they could put him in the blue and the yellow. And
what'd you think of the costumes though? Did you have a favorite out of the three?
Yeah, like I definitely like the one with the X across the front too.
Yeah, that looks
that's
amazing.
Also my favorite. Yeah,
that looks so good, dude. That looks so good. Well, I'm sad that this art didn't have a chance to be used because it looks fantastic, and Mr. Morantz should be very proud of himself because I would definitely cosplay this shit for sure if I had the body for it. I
kind of like the V-shaped one too, actually.
The V-shaped one
with the two
that one's cool too.
On the shoulders.
Yeah, that one's cool too. And the ears are definitely a little bit shorter than I've seen historically in other masks.
The X feels like a little bit extra. Like
you think it feels extra?
I'm an X-Men. It's like already on the belt and whatever.
Yeah, but it's like in the perfect location too.
No,
like
that's what I like about that X one. I feel like they didn't incorporate that to the last movie when they put the jackets on them.
Yeah,
and like before that they were like, we don't really care about this. I didn't mind what you call it? Days of Future Past costumes, the future guys.
Yeah.
Because it was close to authentic.
Yeah.
Because they had the yellow and the dark blue.
Yeah.
So like they tried, but like this one looked amazing.
Wolverine makes a crack in, I think it's the first X-Men movie. He's like he says something like, "Oh, thank God we're not wearing yellow spandex or something" when he gets his leather costume. And there's supposed to be flight suits. Like that's kind of how they played it. Like it was like a flight suit. Like
for the Blackbird.
Yeah, for the Blackbird. I was like, I don't know about that. Like even if they were to do an animated reimagining of the X-Men animated series, this is how I would want to see Wolverine. I would like it. It's a much more modernized take. Again, the yellow and blue costume in the X-Men animated series, the shoulder pads, they look kind of stupid. So this is a much more, I don't know. It's definitely a lot cooler. It looks a lot more dynamic, and it definitely has that trend of body armor being kind of blended into these costumes, which is cool. Not that Wolverine needs body armor, but because obviously he can't be.
I mean, he
killed.
still feels pain.
Yeah.
He still feels pain.
He dies.
We
He
can give
dies.
him some like thicker skin on the outside to prevent him from getting cut.
Yeah.
I like it because it reminds me of Wolverine.
He doesn't have to
and
take the bullet
X-Men.
every time just because he can.
Yeah. Well, this is a podcast. I know you guys can't see the art, so we'll post it up on our Instagram in time for the episode, so you guys can check it out while we're talking about it. And you can share your thoughts with us at Instagram. On Instagram at meanwhile_pod, or drop us an email or leave us an audio message at our Anchor profile, which I think is in our show notes now. So
Do we have a phone number up there now?
no, it's like a link through Anchor where people can just leave a voicemail. But we do have a phone number soon that we're going to be giving out. So we'll do that soon. If you haven't had the chance to give us a review, we'd really appreciate if you could go over to our Stitcher or Apple Podcasts and just drop us a note. Let us know how you feel about the show. We'd love to get some feedback. Tell us how you might want us to improve it. If there's something that we're not talking about that you want us to talk about, drop it there. We're happy to, we're listening. And we're definitely paying attention to any sort of, insight or criticism that you guys may have. We want to give you guys the show that you want. So, feel free to tell us exactly what you're looking for. Well, I think that's it. I'm Frank McGuire.
I'm Matt Fuller.
Christina Dynamo.
Peace, guys.
Bye.
Bye.